Hi, welcome to this video which covers social loafing as it applies to sports psychology as part of the Stage 1 psychology topic. This should be hopefully very useful for tests and exams. Let's get started. So the term social loafing is the tendency of an individual group member to make less effort when involved in a group activity than when working alone. So this goes against team cohesion, which I'm going to talk about in a separate video. But in general, social loafing is something that we want to avoid, especially in a sports psychology setting. This is obviously very, very applicable to team sports, which is obviously a huge part of the industry. So social loafing is something that coaches and sports psychologists will want to avoid in a team setting for reasons that will become obvious as we talk about the two types or the two effects of social loafing. Okay, so it's when individuals make less effort when in a group activity. Now, obviously, this is going to be detrimental to overall performance of the team or of the sport, and it may reduce the likelihood of them being successful. So there are two effects, or two types, in other words, of social loafing. The first is the sucker effect. So the sucker effect is when individuals perceive that their group members are not putting in the effort that they should. So this may mean that they're not practicing as well, they're not doing their drills as well, they're not putting in 110% effort during a particular sport. So they themselves reduce their efforts. So they don't want to be the ones carrying the whole team. They don't think that is fair, which is understandable. So they don't want to be the sucker, hence the term, that carries the entire team and does all the work. So they themselves actually reduce their effort. Obviously, that's going to have a detrimental effect on the team and performance because it means that the majority of the team are not doing what they're supposed to do. So they're not doing, the drills or the practice or putting in 110% effort during the match, for example. And that's going to obviously lead to negative outcomes. Now, the second effect is the free rider effect. So this is when individuals reduce their effort because the effort of the other group members will carry the individual through. So in essence, they get a free ride, hence the term. So an individual can look at the rest of their teammates or the rest of their group and see, yep, everyone is doing exactly what they should be doing. So therefore, I can reduce my efforts. It will go relatively unnoticed, but I will still reap the benefits of the success of the team. So what that looks like is, for example, a sporting team is playing an important match and one of the individual players reduces their effort because everybody else in the team is playing exceptionally well. And they go on to then win the match. Now, they had a free ride in that effect or in that example because they didn't actually put in 110% effort or their performance wasn't optimal because the rest of the team did well enough that they could then, reap the benefits of the victory. So they got a free ride, all right, because of the efforts of their other team members. Now, this is obviously undesirable as well because everybody in a team should be putting in equal effort in order to become more successful. It also, later on I'll talk about this, but it also reduces team cohesion because eventually the other group members will see that this person is not putting in the effort and then it may cause conflict or issues. Obviously, we need to avoid that in a team setting as well. So this is not only applicable to sport, obviously, this is important to, workplaces, schools, group work, group activities, and so on. So it's illustrated really well by this image here. So often we give 100% effort if we're on our own, then it's obviously shared the more people, are included in a group. So we want to avoid the sucker effect and the free rider effect where necessary, especially in sport.